For years, Florida was America's #1 migration magnet. Now, 10 of its cities are losing residents at rates that have stunned even local officials. Insurance premiums doubling overnight, home values in free fall, young professionals vanishing from entire zip codes. We're counting down each one, examining what drew people in, what broke down, and where they're heading instead. At number 10, a Gulf Coast beach town where the insurance bill changed everything. In the 10th place, Pensacola tells a story of paradise turned precarious. For decades, families settled here for the white sand beaches and the promise of affordable coastal living. But in 2026, the numbers reveal a dramatic reversal. Flood insurance premiums have surged from $13,200 to $18,800 on average, a 42% spike in just 2 years. After Hurricane Ida's billion-dollar hit, risk models changed overnight, and so did household budgets. According to Pods, Pensacola now ranks 10th for move-outs, with an 8.3% outbound loss. Most leavers aren't heading far. 62% relocate just across the state line to Alabama or Georgia, trading salt air for peace of mind and lower bills. For many, the dream of beachfront life in Pensacola has become a liability too costly to keep. Number 9, Gainesville faces an exodus that cuts to the heart of its identity as a college town. For years, the University of Florida anchored the city's energy. Young adults arrived for opportunity and often stayed to build careers. But in 2026, the tide has turned. Gainesville has lost 4,200 residents aged 18 to 34, a 12.4% decline in that group, as the cost of living outpaces entry-level wages. The city's housing inventory has nearly quadrupled, leaving more rentals and starter homes sitting empty. UF now retains 9% fewer graduates than just 2 years ago, with nearly half of those leaving heading to Atlanta or Raleigh, where tech and healthcare jobs offer steadier ground. Gainesville's story is not about storm risk or insurance, but about the slow leak of talent when affordability slips out of reach. 8th place, Jacksonville once promised affordable space and a booming job market, drawing in families and young professionals from across the country. In 2026, though, the city faces a housing market glut unlike anything in its recent history. Active listings have surged by nearly 500%, flooding the market and driving median home prices down 4.3% year over year. The property tax rate climbed in response to shrinking values, adding another layer of strain. Pods ranks Jacksonville among the top cities for outbound moves, with 24,000 households relocating, over half choosing Tennessee metros like Nashville for steadier prices and lower taxes. The rapid inventory buildup signals a market correction that is pushing residents to seek stability elsewhere. Number 7, Fort Myers stands at a crossroads where the promise of easy retirement now collides with the reality of climate risk. For years, the city drew older Americans with its gentle winters and affordable homes, but in 2026, a new line has been crossed. Over a third of households now face annual hurricane insurance premiums above $15,000. That threshold is not just a number, it is a breaking point for fixed incomes. The area has endured 3 major storms within a decade, and each one has pushed insurance costs higher, with some policies now rivaling mortgage payments. Home values have dipped by 5.1% as buyers hesitate, and Fort Myers ranks 7th on the Pod's move-out list. Most who leave head for Greenville or Charleston, South Carolina, places where insurance is a fraction of the cost, and the threat of catastrophic storms feels distant. The exodus here is not about giving up on Florida, but about escaping a burden that the brochures never mentioned. Number 6, Cape Coral stands as a cautionary tale of boom turned bust. Drawn by affordable land and a promise of new beginnings, thousands flocked here during the construction surge of the early 2020s. But by 2026, the market's momentum has reversed. Home prices have plunged 9.4% in a single year, the steepest drop in the city's history. Building permits are down 38%, signaling a swift end to the feverish pace of development. At the same time, FEMA's latest maps expanded local flood zones by 12%, pushing insurance costs higher and casting doubt on future growth. According to Pods, Cape Coral ranks 6th for outbound moves, with over half of those leaving heading for Orlando or Lakeland, places that promise stability without the specter of oversupply. Here, the pain is driven less by insurance shock and more by a rapid shift from scarcity to surplus, leaving many residents caught in a market correction they never saw coming. Number 5, Punta Gorda faces the sharpest home price collapse in the nation, with values plunging 11.93% in a single year. For retirees and working families who moved here seeking a peaceful harbor on the Gulf, the reversal has been jarring. Just 2 years ago, homes routinely sold at a 38% premium over asking as demand outstripped supply. Now, the market is flooded with listings that linger for months, and the promise of easy appreciation has vanished. Insurance costs, already high, tip more households into financial distress, while a recent uptick in property crime adds to the unease. According to the latest PODS migration data, Punta Gorda ranks 5th for outbound moves, and a striking 68% of those leaving head for Georgia, especially Atlanta, where insurance is affordable and home values are steadier. Here, the numbers tell a story of good intentions undone by forces few saw coming, marking the peak of price pain before the insurance crisis takes center stage in Florida's larger cities. Number 4, Broward County stands as the epicenter of Florida's insurance crisis, turning a once coveted urban haven into a cautionary tale. For years, Fort Lauderdale and its surroundings drew new arrivals with promises of vibrant city life, cultural diversity, and easy access to the Atlantic. But in 2026, the reality is dominated by a state-high average insurance burden. Policies now top $15,460 per year, with some households facing even steeper premiums. The financial strain doesn't end there. Home values have slipped 6.8%, and the supply of unsold properties has ballooned to nearly 10 months. Figures not seen since the last housing crash. Violent crime is up 14%, adding a layer of unease to daily life. According to the latest PODS migration report, Broward ranks among the top for outbound moves, with 59% of departing residents heading for North Carolina cities like Charlotte and Raleigh, where insurance costs are a fraction of what they are here. The story unfolding in Broward is not about failed dreams, but about the limits of what families can bear when the cost of staying outpaces the promise that first brought them. Coming to the top 3, St. Petersburg and the wider Pinellas County reveal a striking reversal in Florida's migration story. Once prized for its vibrant art scene, waterfront parks, and proximity to Gulf beaches, Pinellas now faces the second largest county population drop in the United States, a 2.3% decline in just 1 year. The area's full-time residents are departing even as tourists continue to fill hotels and restaurants. Property crime has surged by 18%, raising concerns for families and retirees who once saw the city as a safe haven. Home values have slipped by 5.7%, erasing much of the pandemic-era gain and leaving sellers with tough choices. According to PODS, St. Petersburg ranks 3rd nationally for outbound moves, with 64% of those leaving heading inland to central Florida cities, like Lakeland or out of state to Knoxville, Tennessee. For many, the decision to leave isn't about losing faith in the community's culture or coastline. It's about the mounting pressure of crime and cost that now outweigh the city's celebrated amenities. Number 2, Tampa Bay stands as the starkest reversal in Florida's migration story. Not long ago, this metro led the nation in move-ins. PODS ranked it 4th in 2022, 9th in 2023. By 2026, that momentum has flipped. Tampa Bay now appears on the move-out list, recording a net loss of 24,000 households in the latest cycle. The shift isn't just about numbers, it's about a sense of promise turning into pressure. Home inventory has surged by 215% since the start of 2025, flooding the market with listings and pushing prices down 1.2% year over year. Flood zone boundaries expanded another 9% after back-to-back storms, raising insurance premiums to an average of $12,500, well above the national mark, though still shy of South Florida extremes. For many, the calculus changed. Most departing families are heading north, with 71% relocating to Georgia or the Carolinas, drawn by Atlanta's job market or Charlotte's relative affordability. Tampa Bay's story is not about a failed city, but about a region caught between the risks of climate, the realities of oversupply, and the pull of new beginnings elsewhere. And finally, In first place, Miami stands as the epicenter of Florida's population reversal in 2026. For years, the city's magnetic pole was undeniable, with cosmopolitan energy, booming tech and finance, and the promise of year-round sun. But now, the numbers tell a different story. Miami has recorded the highest net population loss in the nation, with a 1.4% decline, translating to over 12,500 residents leaving in just 1 year. The exodus is driven by a convergence of pressures few cities face at this scale. Home insurance premiums have reached a staggering $17,200 on average, the highest among major United States metros, turning what was once an affordable dream into a financial strain. Home values, which surged during the pandemic, have dropped 7.6%, erasing years of gains and trapping many owners in negative equity. At the same time, violent crime has risen 16%, adding to the sense of instability. FEMA's latest maps expanded Miami's flood zones by 14%, amplifying both insurance costs and the psychological weight of climate risk. The story is not just about numbers, it's about families and professionals who arrived with hope and now feel forced to seek relief elsewhere. 70% of those leaving Miami head to Orlando, Tampa, or Atlanta, cities that offer lower costs, steadier markets, and a chance to start over. Miami's reversal is not a simple collapse, but the result of overlapping shocks, economic, environmental, and social, all landing at once. The city's experience closes the ranking, a cautionary tale of how cumulative pressures can overwhelm even the brightest destinations, while reminding us that the story of Florida's future will be decided market by market, not by headlines alone. Across all 10 cities, one pattern stands out. When the cost of belonging, financial and personal, outpaces the reasons people came, even the most sought-after places can unravel. Florida's migration story isn't over. It's evolving city by city, family by family, in choices data alone can't fully explain.